Hi guys, Scott here from Outlaw Garage. Today we're catching up with James and his Australian delivered 964 that has had a load of mods on it. So let's swing over and catch up with James.
My name's James Sanderson. This is my 964. It's a 1990 model in Horizon Blue.
Let's take a closer look at this because I think this has got a story.
That's the stories, yes.
Loads of stories with this. I think the kids are going to join in perhaps at some point as well. But let's take a closer look because the engine sounds great, bit of history with the colour, and this kind of caught me off guard today. So this is going to be cool.
All right, well, bit of history. I've had the car for I think it's approximately 13 years. Always wanted 911. My next door neighbour when I was a kid, a guy called Matthew Coleman, and his dad had a beautiful old red 911 SC, and I used to hear it start up every morning when I was about 5 years old, and from then on I decided I wanted a 911. So that's how the drug started. And then my uncle bought Porsches when I was in my late teens, and that sort of cemented my desire to buy one. I bought the car primarily first and foremost to get it out on the track. So the first 5 or 6 years that I owned it, the car spent a lot of time on the track and had quite a few modifications to make it track ready for at the time. A couple of highlights in it. I won a Victorian State Sprint Championship in it, which was really good fun. That was in the first year that they ran that series. And then, from there, it's sort of the last few years with having 4 kids, it's become our family car. Her name's Sally. When I used to race it, all the young kids used to come up and think it was the car from the Disney movie Cars. Even though that one's a 996 and this is a 964, it's a similar colour, so...
We'll let them off.
Yeah, all the kids thought that's the car it was, so they all wanted to come and sit in Sally, and the name stuck. So she's part of the family now, and yeah, if I ever sold her... my children and my wife would kill me, so yeah.
I guess as well, like, because you've had it so long,
yeah,
you know, nowadays you get an Aussie delivered 964 in a rare colour.
Yeah.
Very rare that's going to see a whole lot of track time. Yep. But probably 13 years ago or something, then you pick up a gem like this.
Yeah.
Not the same kind of price, not the same kind of pull of the cars, and then that gives you what sounds like a perfect track toy as well. Yeah,
I think when I bought it, I think I paid about 48,000 for it or something like that. So not a lot of money compared to what 964s are worth now, particularly a manual 2-wheel drive coupe.
Yeah.
So still, when I bought it, it only done I think about 70,000 Ks. It's now done just about to click over to 190, about 189,000 Ks. So I like to drive it at least 2 days a week. Get out and enjoy it. She's certainly no garage queen, but she's in mint condition. I protected the paint by putting the clear stuff all over the front of it, so the whole bonnet and the whole front bumper bars all being covered in special 3M clear to protect it out on the track.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
So it doesn't get stone chips. So even after many years of doing track days, it doesn't have stone chips all over it, which is great. Interesting thing you're asking about the colour of the car. I only found this out just after I bought the car. I was going through... Usually these days you'd be a little bit more diligent when you're buying your first Porsche, but I didn't. I just drove it and went, yep, I want it. Didn't even check the codes to see if it had an original engine or this, that or anything else in it. And I soon discovered when I looked at the colour code of the car that it didn't match. And what I found out was the car was originally mint green, which for those who don't know is a very iconic 964 colour. It's like a very bright spearmint colour.
That and the ruby stone are the iconic colours of a 964.
That's correct, yeah. So it was originally a colour, and apparently Porsche Cars Australia, for the first owner, I don't know the story behind it or why, but they resprayed the entire car in Horizon Blau, which is also a very rare colour. What I did find out is that Porsche in this era had many different hues and colours and shades of blue.
Yep.
When I was first trying to find some touch-up paint for it, it was really challenging to finally figure out what the actual colour of the car was, until I finally discovered it is Horizon Blue. So that's it.
But a unique colour, and originally, and then a very unique colour as well that it's been repainted in.
So I can show you a bit of where the mint green is if you want.
Yep, let's go take a look. So here we are in the engine bay, so hunting for the original colour. So
there's a few that you can see around here of the mint green, which is some of the blues come off around the oil filler, and also down here just where we've I think we chipped a bit of paint off when we were putting in the RS engine mounts that it's now got in it, and you can see some of the original mint green there. So yeah,
look at that. I will try and put a picture up of the mint green colour, because it was very much like that ruby stone and the mint green were a bit of an RS kind of colour as well, weren't they? So very, very unique colours.
Yeah, engine wise, so yeah, as I mentioned, the car's had quite a few modifications. Originally,
because this sounds nothing like your standard 964.
No, true. So originally, the first thing I did was change the suspension, because the first track day I took it to, I couldn't believe how it drove like a boat, basically. So
it wobbles around, especially at the front end, and then they are a bit swayy, aren't they?
A lot of pitch and roll when you accelerate and off the gas. Was actually slower the first time I drove it around Winton than my previous little MX-5 was. The MX-5 ran rings around it, even though this was a lot faster. The MX-5 carried about 50 to 60% more corner speed, so it was. I was a bit disappointed, to say the least, when I first put it on the track.
We'll edit that out, because we can't have any Porsche pictures.
No, people should know that, because a standard 964, they're not as impressive as you might think. They do feel old, but a few tweaks and they're amazing. So
what did you do on the suspension?
So the first thing I did was I've got KW club spec coilovers, which absolutely transformed the car. And I also put in adjustable sway bars, which I had custom made for it. I think it's 26 on the front and a 24mm on the rear. The RS actually runs an 18mm rear sway bar, which is a lot less, but I like my car to be a bit more taily and flatter in the rear, so I went with a 24mm rear. And they're adjustable, so I can adjust it depending on which track I'm at and how I want the car to behave. I also changed all of the bushes in the car, so it runs Powerflex suspension bushes all throughout the entire car. Every single suspension bush has been changed,
which would make a massive difference.
Makes a massive difference. And as I said, the other big thing was changing the gearbox and these mounts underneath the gearbox, and also the engine mounts to RS mounts, which really stiffens it all up.
Stiffened it right up, did it?
Yeah, it makes a massive difference to how the car drives. Engine wise, looks totally standard from the outside, apart from the only you can see the fuel filters, the air filter's been changed. And it's also got a MAF.
Come around this way, because the sun is horrendous today.
But under here it's got a MAF conversion kit. So there's a few of these being run in Australia. I know Andy, who runs the Last Rasp stuff on YouTube as well, has got an FVD kit, which he's reviewed. I can't remember whether it's an FVD or what it was. I actually bought it so long ago, I can't remember what it is, but it did make quite a big difference. Around about the same time, before I changed the engine mounts, I actually accidentally put it in first, going over the start-finish line at Sandown instead of third, because the whole transmission was sort of moving around with the old soft engine mounts. And pinged the engine up to, I'm not sure how many RPM it was, but it was way more than it wanted to go to. And
I'd imagine it popped straight off the gauge.
So I did a fair bit of damage to the engine at the time. So the engine's been rebuilt. It's got Super Cup camshafts and a few other little goodies. And it's got, from being dynoed, I think roughly it's around about 300 to 310 horsepower, somewhere around there. So about 60 more horsepower than standard. And the camshafts sound really nice. It gives it a nice lumpy sound. Apart from that, a couple little things inside, which I can show you. It's got a 993 RS steering wheel, much. I like the steering wheel because of the size of it. It's not quite as small as had a Momo on it before, which I know a lot of people love the Momo, but I find them to be a little bit too small.
Yeah, Momos are kind of, we've said it before and we'll always say it, they're a bit of a standard upgrade on an air-cooled car, aren't they? But
so I like the factory, I like
because that is a lot thicker, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's the standard 993. That came in the 993 RS and the 993 RS CS. The gear knob I sourced off eBay, which matches it, but sort of suits the car. Because the 993, obviously you can't put the gear shifter in because it's a 6-speed in a 993 as opposed to this, which is a 5-speed. Couple of little things, little door handles and stuff like that.
Hey, they're pretty nice.
You can see the little anodised door handles. It's just a couple of things like that to dress it up. Yeah. And in the back it's got the harness bar, which you can see.
Let's have a look there.
On the back window. The reason I have those is when I used to track it a lot. I haven't got them on the car today, but I've also got a set of replica 964 RS seats, which are trimmed in the same classic grey interior.
Okay.
And they match that as well. There's a gentleman in his Skyline roaring past.
Yeah, we do have a few people that we know that love a Skyline.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
I've had one of those as well, an R33. Actually, funny story, that's why I've made my final decision to get this. I actually had an R33 Skyline because I liked the idea of having something that wasn't too expensive but made lots of power, and after blowing up 3 engines in it, no matter how many intercoolers and things I did on it, they just kept overheating and blowing up. So that's why I decided to go to something that was quick out of the box, and rather than having to have a car that I had to modify too extensively. The irony, of course, that this car has now got lots and lots of modifications.
I was going to bring that up.
I think it's a bit of a drug rather than the problem being with the car.
I was going to bring that up. We don't have to modify anything, and there we go, fully modified 964.
So a couple of things that you can't see as well. In the gearbox as well, I took the liberty when I did that, so it's got all GT3 synchros. So the standard synchros in these tend to chew out when you track them a lot. So this has got a full set of GT3 synchros in the gearbox as well. When I did that, really wish now that I'd actually shortened the gear ratios as well to make it a little bit quicker as well. But I didn't get around. So that'll probably be the next rebuild. So yeah.
And how do you find the K&N?
Well, it's
setup.
Yeah, so that came with the intake and everything. This car, the chip that's actually in it, they actually had to custom make it. So
it's not your standard, the common one's the Steve Wong chip.
Yeah, I tried a Steve Wong chip, and his products are very good, but because it had the camshafts and that, it didn't really marry in. So I found a place that could actually live tune the Motronic. In this, and then what they do is they actually burn a chip custom made for your car, so they dyno it, get all the specifications from that, and then they custom.
And that's what I've heard about when you have the K&N.
Yeah.
That it needs the dyno, the full setup. Yeah. Otherwise, if you just think it's a plug and play, you don't get the benefit out of the K&N.
Yeah. And the last thing it's got, of course, which is a great upgrade for these, if you can put up with a little bit of noise, is RS flywheel. So it rattles. Sounds a bit like a Ducati, but it's it really makes a difference to how the engine revs up, and makes it a lot more responsive as well. So.
Yeah, okay. And then how do you find the clutch on it?
The clutch at the moment's actually shagged, fairly shagged. It's been there for about 10 or 11 years, so it's still functional, but it's you certainly wouldn't want to launch it too hard off the line because it'll slip. But she's in for some love in the next few months, so that'll be one of the first things. But it's got the clutch kit in it is actually the same clutch. When I upgraded the engine and all that, I put in I think the pressure plate in the clutch is from the 964 Turbo or the 965. So it runs. It's got a greater clamping force and a higher friction. So.
Yeah, I've heard some people when they change the flywheel, change the pressure plate and everything, that it can be a little bit easy to stall the car when you're kind of driving along.
Yeah. So, but it's great fun.
What a car. Nappy's changed in the front, we hear.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the kids are going to be fighting over who's going to get it at some point.
Well, absolutely, but there's another 2 kids on the side who are very keen as well. So I've got 2 boys and 2 girls. The girls love it as well. So
I think I'd keep a scoreboard on the fridge.
Yeah.
Good deeds, who's done the washing, who's mowed the lawn, and I'd probably add that up over 40 years.
One of the best things that it was actually Tracy my wedding car as well. So that was really cool. And I got to take my oldest daughter to her formal in it as well, which was a real privilege.
Yeah. So this with your
all of our family memories are tied in with Sally as well. She's good stuff.
Yeah, I think this is a car that stays with the family, isn't it?
Yeah.
This has got some history.
I'll start it up for you if you like.
Yeah, let's get a semi-cold start because you did pull her out of the garage, but here we go. What I hope is that picks up really well on the microphone, because as I said before, you sent me a video that did not do the car justice.
Yeah.
That's absolutely stellar.
Cool.
Alright, so off in the 964. This sounds brilliant.
Yeah, you can hear how lumpy it is.
Yeah, I just hope the microphone on the camera and on here picked that up alright. Just check that's not going to fall off, because that sounds amazing. So what series were you in when you were racing? Was it like a Porsche series, or was it like a
originally just did Porsche Club events, and then there's a CAMS Victorian Super Sprint Championship.
Yeah.
So I was in, I think it was 3.5 to 5 litres.
Yeah. 3.5, so that's quite a range.
Yeah, so I had a lot of like Lotus Exceges and all sorts of different things. I think I came second outright. The guy who beat me was in a GT40 replica.
Yeah.
With a great big, whatever big block was in it.
Yeah, okay.
And he used to pull about 15 car lengths on me going down the straight at any racetrack, particularly Phillip Island or Sandown. But in my class, I came first in my class, so so
wow,
that was good fun.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the last real sort of motorsports series as such that I did. So I've only been taking it to track maybe 3 or 4 times in the last 5 years, just with the 4 kids and all their other interests and all that. And my daughter likes horses, and my son likes go-karts, and my oldest daughter loves drama and singing, and my oldest boy is with his basketball and everything, so it's just busy. So yeah, track time's on hold a little bit for the moment, but if I can occasionally get out and take it for a run, I do, because it's the only place you can really enjoy it properly. But that's what I love about it as well, is the car's a bit of a sleeper. Like from the outside, apart from the noise, you wouldn't know that it's got quite a bit more grunt than standard and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, hell of a lot more grunt than standard, that's it. Can feel the tightness even just going round there. Yeah, she's tight, isn't she?
So yeah, pulls a fair bit harder than standard.
Oh, a lot more.
How instant the throttle response is.
Yeah.
That's the difference of the flywheel. Like, it just really picks up quickly.
And you're not getting any of that, like talked about the slop or a little boat on the water. You're not feeling any of that at all. Like even then, just the quick turn, she's solid. This must have been great fun on the track.
It really comes alive. The harder you drive it, the more it rewards you. And also even the tyres that I run on it. For road tyres, I run the Dunlop Duretsa Z3s.
Yeah.
Which are the carcass of the tyres is the same as a race tyre, so they've got really stiff sidewalls, so it gives you a lot more responsiveness.
Yeah.
So it tightens up the steering, and everything feels a lot more immediate. It's much less sidewall flex and that sort of thing. So. also it's got a very tight diff in it as well, so when you do a U-turn like that, it shatters. Yeah, it locks up as soon as you put the power on. It fully locks the diff.
Yeah, okay.
And it was in, I can't remember exactly what the figure was, but it was well into the 12s, as in the low 12s. So yeah, it's a lot quicker than a standard 964.
Yeah. Because that first seems pretty long on here as well.
Yeah, it is a very long gear.
Yeah.
Particularly, you'd know after being at Andy's with a 6-speed. Yeah. It's much shorter because they've got obviously 6 gears, whereas this with 5 gears. I think first runs out to, I don't know what it is in this, but it must be 65, 70, something like that. And then second runs out to about 115. Obviously this has got a raised rev limiter on it as well. Yeah. So this revs out comfortably to, you know, with the camshafts and that. I usually change up at about 7.2, which is quite a lot higher than
that's a fair
standard.
Bit. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I think standard 6.7. So yeah, on a track it's really playful. I can quite happily drive this, just throw it around. So even really fast corners at Phillip Island, even some of the long corners, you can easily just play with it on the throttle and just in between the front and the rear losing grip. Like, you know, it's a car you can really trust. Yeah. Now that it's set up nicely. So yeah, no, it's good fun.
Yeah, you're going to break the hearts of some 964 owners when they're sat there with their unmodified car and you turn up with something like this and they're like not expecting it at all.
And for me, the one thing, I know you think it sounds great, but the one thing I'd love to do to this is put a GT3 muffler on it with headers. It's, for me, that's the best sound you can get out of one of these. Or which with the 993s, which is like what Andy's done, which is running the cross pipes, the decatted cross pipes on them. They sound really good.
Yeah, because he's definitely going to be modifying that car over an extended period of time.
Yeah, and he's definitely got the bug. It's good.
It is a bug. Well, we hope you enjoyed the video. We're going to try and catch up with James again out on a run in the hills because that 964 is amazing. Like we said, please like the video, give it a massive thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you soon. See you guys. Bye.